So, a formula for the enthusiast with newcomers and veterans thrown together. 17 starters. Joe Dos Santos and Des Fenning on the front row of the grid, and Des Fenning gets a good start, but Dos Santos gets even a better start as they power their way through. The total right-hander down into Conti for the first time, and look at this, somebody's spinning off. That's Stuart McClarty in car number 4, praying that nobody hits him, and they all get past safely. His prayers are answered, but he's right at the back of the field. What a pity. All that work in practice to get up to the third row of the grid, and here he is, one of the front runners, usually one of the front runners, right at the back of the field. Now the lead is powering down the Ultimoil straight, and it's Dos Santos in the front with Fenning and Russell Fear coming through on the outside as they go down towards the left-hander. That's the Citizen corner, then going into the Motorsport hill. Fenning now down to third position as they go into the left-hander, Bosel Bend. And already the slower cars starting to spread the field out. That's Steve Keeley, came to touching there with Mark Allison. Steve Keeley off onto the inside of the track. He's safely underway, but he's lost a lot of ground. Not so for Mark Allison, and he has lost all his ground. He's come to a standstill and safely out of the car. They come over the brow now, and it's still Dos Santos, and is leading Russell Fear. The oil flag out, oil in Conti corner, and under braking, Fear comes right up behind Dos Santos' tail, but then under acceleration, it's Dos Santos who pulls away from Russell Fear, going into the Ultimoil straight yet again. Up to 200 kilometers an hour now, this straight. Down towards the left-hander once again, which is the Citizen corner. And Graham Cooper trying to fight his way through the field. Field already spread out over half the track. And the leader still Dos Santos, with Russell Fear in second position, Des Fenning in third. Through Bosel, that looked like Andre Bezuidenhout. It is Andre Bezuidenhout in fourth position. He's challenging strongly as well.
And a little bit further back there, we've got Duncan Thursby, the son of the man who's designed these motor cars. This formula started by Chris Costas, the car designed by Norman Thursby, and of course the whole act has been sponsored there by Total. But Fear keeping on the pressure into a slippery Conti. Nicely turned out motor car, always a front runner, always a well prepared motor car, and certainly very well driven indeed. And Dos Santos is now starting to get pressure from Fear. Fenning's dropped back just a wee bit as they approach 200 kilometers an hour. These are standard engines, as you've heard, fuel injected motors, 2 litre 8 valve, and Fear trying to go around the outside, and he's lost his periscope there from his air intake, has Dos Santos, and this is going to slow him, and Fear's gone to the front. Over the bumps there as they come up the Motorsport hill, onto the brakes, and they'll slide to the side. They're putting the pressure on there, but he's certainly lost the edge of his motor. He's able to pull away in the past. He's certainly not able to get that close to Russell Fear. And just behind him, we've got Andre Bezuidenhout. There's Duncan Thursby. Burford's in there. Joe Dos Santos is fading just that wee bit there behind Russell Fear. And as he comes into Conti, he's still remembering that it's slippery. He starts to power it on behind him. He's lost it. He's lost it, just putting too much power into the road, and that video sports car is starting to do pirouettes on the grass, just for that huge gallery down there, and a little bit of Flymo grass cutting as well. Well, that's his chances gone in this race. He's way back in 8th position. He'll have to go some now if he's to have any hope of catching up with the leader. It's only a 10-lap race. It's over 20 kilometers, but a very fine drive, pole position. And its Fear has gone to the front. Fenning just a little bit further behind him. Then it's Andre Bezuidenhout, Thursby, as we've said. And then Colin Burford just a little way behind him. And Bezuidenhout still keeping the pressure there on Des Fenning. Thursby not just quite able to get up in touch with those leaders. Always a close race at the front of this pack. Wherever you look around the circuit, there's 2 and 3 motor cars racing together. And Fear knows what can happen on Conti corner there, on that very slippery road. Nice piece of driving, smoothly out of that corner he comes, and he's got it all to himself as he hurtles down the road there. Joe Dos Santos now has made his way up to 6th position. Stuart McCarty is just behind him in 7th. And then we've got Cooper and Steve Keeley's in there, Richard Wood, Jacques Brouillard, who normally does so well, and Paul Fairhurst from the sponsors. In there having a lot of fun. There's Fenning. He took part in the South African Speed and Endurance records, a very fine driver, very steady one in the Tex car. That's Duncan Thursby, polished driver, as we're coming to the final stage of this race, and we look at the leaders. Russell Fear now. Fenning is starting to close on him. He's gained a second or two in that lap. They're lapping right on the lap record, getting around here in 56 seconds around this circuit. And wherever you sit around Zwartskops, you can normally see the cars for about 30 seconds of the 56 seconds it takes to do a lap. And Thursby's starting to put the pressure on Andre Bazin. Colin Burford and DeSantos and McClarty a little further behind them. And that's Colin Burford there getting a lot of pressure there from DeSantos. It's a pity he lost that periscope, that air intake, but that's one of those things about racing. It'll never happen again, but it's certainly taken the edge off his motor, no doubt about it. Tries to take a fast line through there, and we're starting to get up there to the Michelin Straight, and here's the checkered flag waiting for him. It's Russell Fair winning it ahead of Des Fenning, and in third spot Andre Bazin, a very steady drive,